No one expected the confession to slip out the way it did. Not the hosts. Not the production team. Not the fans who had spent months dissecting glances, decoding gestures, and slowing down footage frame by frame like love archaeologists searching for proof. And certainly not Tan Songyun, who was sitting just a few feet away when Shukai finally said the words that detonated the internet. It felt real. That was all it took. 3 words. 1 breath. And the entire fandom collapsed. The setting was calm, almost deceptively so. A low-lit interview room, warm tones, soft music humming in the background like a held breath. Shukai sat relaxed, dressed simply, hands folded loosely in his lap. Tan Songyun sat across from him, legs crossed, posture composed, smile polite but guarded. They had answered dozens of questions already, about the project, about teamwork, about memorable scenes. Everything safe. Everything professional. Until the host asked the question no one had dared to ask so directly. Was there ever a moment during filming when the emotions felt real? The room stilled. Songyun's smile faltered for half a second. Shukai inhaled slowly. The silence stretched, thick enough to feel. Fans watching live leaned closer to their screens. And then he said it. Yes. No hesitation. No nervous laugh. No deflection. Just yes. The host blinked. Real, as in. Shukai glanced sideways, toward Tan Songyun. Not quickly. Not accidentally. But deliberately. And that single glance rewrote everything fans thought they knew. It felt real, he said again, voice lower now, steadier, like a truth finally stepping out of shadow. Not because of the script. Not because of the camera. But because of who I was standing in front of. The room audibly inhaled. Songyun's fingers tightened slightly on her knee. Social media froze, then exploded. Did he just? Oh my God, he said it. This is not a drill. Tan Songyun blinked twice. If you're okay. The host tried to recover. So, you mean the chemistry was strong? Shukai smiled faintly. Not the playful smile fans were used to. This one was softer. Older. Heavier with meaning. Chemistry is easy to explain, he said. This wasn't easy. That sentence alone sent shockwaves across the internet. Because everyone remembered the moments that led here. The gentle hand fixing her costume strap. The jacket draped over her shoulders without thought. The way he always stood slightly in front of her in crowds. The airport run. The kiss that wasn't supposed to happen. The rumors that refused to die. Suddenly, every scene snapped into place. The host, clearly sensing the gravity of the moment, asked carefully, was there a specific scene where it crossed that line? Shukai nodded once. There was a night shoot, he said. Rain. Cold. Long hours. She was exhausted. Songyun's breath hitched almost imperceptibly. He continued, eyes distant now, replaying something vivid. There was a scene where my character was supposed to comfort hers. It was written simply, hand on shoulder, a few lines, then cut. He paused. But when I touched her, she flinched. Not because she was acting. Because she was cold. Songyun closed her eyes briefly. So I pulled her closer, Shukai said quietly. And she leaned in. Not as a character. As herself. The room felt sacred. Untouchable. For a moment, he added, I forgot where we were. I forgot the lights. I forgot the crew. I forgot my lines. The host whispered, and then? And then I realized, Shukai said, voice barely above a breath, that I wasn't pretending anymore. The silence that followed was deafening. Fans screamed. Fans cried. Fans went absolutely feral. This is a confession. This is not about acting anymore. The way he's talking, this is love. Songyun finally looked at him. Her eyes were glossy, unreadable, shimmering with something dangerously close to emotion. You never told me that, she said softly. Shukai met her gaze. Didn't flinch. Didn't smile. I didn't know how, he replied. I barely knew how to tell myself. That moment, their eyes locked, words hanging between them like an exposed nerve, became the most replayed clip of the year. But the interview wasn't over. The host, now fully aware they were witnessing something historic, asked the question fans had been holding in their lungs for months. Did it scare you? Shukai laughed quietly. Not humorously. Honestly. Terrified me. Why? Because when something feels real, he said, you can't unfeel it. You can't edit it out. You can't yell cut. Songyun swallowed. And because, he continued, she made it feel safe. That sentence shattered something. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was intimate. Safe. That word echoed louder than any love confession. After the interview aired, chaos followed. Headlines erupted. Shukai admits feelings felt real on set. It wasn't just acting, says Shukai. Fans shaken by emotional confession. Clips spread like wildfire. Edits layered his words over slow-motion footage of him watching Songyun laugh, helping her downstairs, fixing her hair without thinking. Fans connected dots with trembling hands. But what the public didn't see happened after the cameras stopped rolling. Backstage, the hallway was quiet. Too quiet. Songyun stood near the dressing room door, arms folded tightly around herself like she was holding something fragile together. Shukai approached slowly, unsure for the first time in a long while. I didn't plan to say that, he said gently. I know, she replied. I didn't want to embarrass you. You didn't, she whispered. You surprised me. He hesitated. In a bad way. She looked up at him then, really looked. No, she said. In a way I've been pretending not to notice. His breath caught. You always know when I'm cold, she continued quietly. You always know when I'm tired. You always step closer when the world gets loud. He nodded once. Because it feels real. She smiled faintly. That's what scares me. They stood there, the weight of unspoken months pressing down between them. You don't have to explain anything, Shukai said. I just needed to be honest. With me, she asked softly, or with yourself? He smiled. Both. That night, fans noticed something new. They left the building together. Not rushed. Not hidden. Not staged. Shukai held the door for her. Songyun walked beside him. Their shoulders brushed. He didn't pull away. Someone filmed it from across the street. Someone uploaded it. The caption read, "After the confession, this." The video was simple. No sound. Just two silhouettes walking into the night, close enough that the space between them felt intentional. Fans didn't scream this time. They went quiet. Because silence sometimes means understanding. Days later, Shukai posted something for the first time in weeks. No caption. Just a photo of a script page. One line circled in pen. Some feelings aren't written. They happen. Songyun liked the post within seconds. And that was all the confirmation fans needed. Because this story, the gentle behavior, the airport run, the confession that slipped out like truth finally tired of hiding, had always been rhyming toward this moment. Shukai didn't say he was in love. He didn't need to. He said it felt real. And sometimes, that's the most dangerous admission of all. Because real feelings don't fade when filming ends. They don't disappear when the cameras shut off. They don't stop when the story is supposed to. They linger. They grow. They wait. The confession didn't end when the interview lights went off. That was the part the world didn't understand. When Shukai said it felt real, he didn't close a chapter, he tore the page wide open and let everything spill. The next morning, the industry woke up uneasy. Fans weren't just excited anymore. They were unsettled, in the best way. Because this time, it wasn't speculation stitched together from edits and stolen glances. This time, it was his voice. His words. His truth. And Tan Songyun hadn't denied it. She hadn't laughed it off. She hadn't corrected him. She hadn't retreated into professionalism. She had gone quiet. That silence spoke louder than any statement ever could. Inside the studio, the atmosphere shifted immediately. Crew members exchanged looks instead of gossip. Conversations softened when either of them walked by. It felt like everyone was suddenly standing inside a fragile glass room, afraid one careless word might crack something sacred. Shukai noticed it first. Songyun arrived early that day, hair pulled back loosely, no makeup yet, holding a cup of warm tea in both hands like an anchor. She sat by the window, staring outside instead of scrolling through her phone like she usually did. He watched her from across the room. For the first time since the confession, he hesitated. Not because he regretted it, but because now that the truth was out, he didn't know where to place his hands. He walked over slowly. "You didn't sleep," he said gently. She looked up, surprised. "How do you know? You always rub your thumb like that when you're tired." She froze. Then she smiled, soft and resigned. "You see too much." He lowered his voice. "Only you." That was the problem. That was always the problem. Later that day, they rehearsed a scene they had filmed dozens of times before. Same lines. Same blocking. Same marks taped to the floor. But nothing felt the same. When Shukai stepped closer, just as scripted, Songyun's breath changed. When she looked up at him, the pause between lines stretched too long. The director frowned, then slowly lifted a hand. "Don't cut," he said quietly. "Let it breathe." And it did. Shukai reached for her hand. Not like an actor. Like a man remembering something dangerous. Her fingers trembled slightly before settling into his palm. The set went silent. No one moved. No one dared. Because whatever was unfolding didn't belong to the script anymore. When the scene ended, the director cleared his throat. That was different. Shukai didn't answer. Songyun didn't pull her hand away immediately. And someone in the back whispered, "That's what real looks like." The footage leaked that night. Not dramatically. Not scandalously. Just a quiet clip of Shukai listening, really listening, while Songyun spoke, his body angled toward her, eyes soft, attention complete. The caption read, "After the confession, this is how he looks at her." The internet didn't explode. It trembled. Fans wrote essays instead of comments. They spoke about timing. About restraint. About two people standing at the edge of something they couldn't unfeel. But the most powerful moment happened far away from cameras. It happened when the day ended. Songyun stood alone in the hallway, adjusting her coat. Shukai approached, holding his phone, visibly nervous. "They want a follow-up interview," he said. "About what I said." She nodded slowly. "And I won't do it without you." Her eyes lifted. "Why?" "Because," he said honestly, "this story involves both of us." She took a step closer. "Shukai," she said quietly, "when you said it felt real, did you mean just during filming?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached out and fixed the edge of her scarf, carefully, gently, the way he always did when emotions ran too close to the surface. "No," he said at last. "I meant it didn't stop when the cameras did." Her breath caught. "That's what fans don't understand," he continued softly. "They think I was talking about a moment. I was talking about a continuation." She swallowed. "And what about now?" she asked. "Does it still feel real now that everyone's watching?" He met her gaze without flinching. "It feels more real," he said. "Because I'm not hiding anymore." That was the moment something shifted irreversibly. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly, like a door unlocking from the inside. The following days were filled with small, undeniable things. Shukai waiting for her after schedules ended. Songyun saving a seat beside her without explanation. Their conversation stretching longer, softer, less guarded. Fans noticed that Shukai no longer corrected rumors. They noticed Songyun stopped avoiding questions. And when a reporter asked her directly, "Did Shukai's words surprise you?" she smiled gently and replied, "No. They matched what I felt." That single sentence sent waves through the fandom. Because it rhymed. It rhymed with the airport run. With the jacket on her shoulders. With the hand that always reached first.